right, everybody, welcome back to the Breakdown. Thank you so much for staying with us. Broadcasting live on Mojo 50. You can also head on over to Facebook and watch there, the live stream, and Twitch. Just search for @BreakD Radio. That's where you can find us on all the socials, as a matter of fact, @BreakD Radio. TikTok as well, if you have anything to say over there. And then don't forget that if you want to be on the show, it doesn't matter if you're wearing what you're wearing. You can be totally nude, and you can call and leave a sound off just simply by heading on over to BreakD Radio and clicking on the microphone down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and we will play it on air. Now, I'm giving that. This is the crazy thing. I'm actually giving the Jackhole Nation the ability to go on the show. I probably shouldn't say this without listening to or pre-screening on this right now. I don't know why is this. For some reason, we're not able to comment on this chat. What's going on with that, Brian? Can you figure that out? I don't know what's going on.
Who's not able to comment where?
It says on Facebook, you're not allowed to comment on this post right now. I'm not sure if that is something for everybody, if everybody's experiencing that issue with the chat or not. But anyway, I'll leave that there for a few moments while we get into some other interesting news stories and topics. So let's go ahead and do this before we head into anything too serious. So now, I've never been to New York before. I'm sorry, I have been in New York, but I haven't. It's pre 9/11. It was back in 1999. I didn't go to a lot of places there in New York. So I went to Blue Note. No, I'm sorry. I went to Charlie Bird's. It was a jazz club I went to up there, and I saw Ron Carter play bass. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty phenomenal to be able to see that. But evidently, when you go to New York, there are not a lot of supermarkets in the area. Now, there's no Kroger's, no Whole Foods, no Piggly Wigglies, things like that. All right, never mind. We're good to go on the chat. I've actually fixed that here. This gentleman that moved there was a recent transplant from the Midwest. I can't play the video, but evidently this guy posted a TikTok video up. And he's complaining because he can't find milk, eggs, and yogurt because everywhere he goes to is just like a bodega. And like this little kind of corner shop, I guess, kind of like a little corner convenience store. So this dude is, like I said, transplant from the Midwest. He managed to tick off city natives when he shared his disdain for the bodega culture. So I guess this is now a culture up there. Okay. Excuse me. I don't know. These bodegas, I guess this is now like a subculture or culture up in New York City. But New York is known for its bodegas, convenience stores on pretty much every street corner that sell staples and necessities. But newcomer Green was confused to find a lack of larger grocery stores and supermarkets in the Bronx where he was staying. So this guy's name is Griffin Green, which I find a little ironic. The fact that the guy is up there, his name is Green, and he doesn't understand the culture. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one seeing the irony on that. But he says in the video, I can't play it because there's so much swearing. I can't edit it all out there. So it says he just moved to New York and I'm going to grocery shopping. And so I type in like grocery stores on my Apple Maps, and like every effing one I go to, like I'm walking to, they're all like this. And he shows the camera and it's a bodega. And then it was originally posted up. He said, or like the effing like this. I don't know. The guy needs to learn a new word. He's like, bro, that's not a grocery store. Like I'm trying to get eggs, yogurt, and cheese, like stuff like that. And he ends up having to go home. He says he's eating cereal for dinner. He calls it an S-hole, and that at his S-hole apartment in the Bronx while waiting for his Upper East Side lease to begin. So people got angry about this, saying that his tirade against this bodega culture in New York was racist. And because it was racist, the dude has now been fired from his job that he moved to New York to do in the first place. So it says here, people got mad, of course, because they have attitudes like that. They come to the city, in this case, the Bronx, and instead of integrating themselves into their community, they just make a mockery of it. Now, of course, I don't know if he's making a mockery of it. I think it's a little bit of a culture shock. Here, living in most places, unless you're in an extremely rural area, you're going to have grocery stores all over the place. And then going somewhere that has nothing like that, but it's all these bodegas. I'm still trying to understand, why is that considered racist? I mean, is it something about the ownership? Is it something about Doug seems to know something about that in the Facebook chat, but is it something about the ownership of these places, these
Aaron,
small
I'm gonna
areas?
have to take just a moment to admonish you.
Okay.
I've been trying to hold off on this as long as I can, but sir, simply asking why something is racist is deemed racist.
Oh gosh.
And
I'm canceled.
it's over. I mean, the breakdown is done. I'm sorry, you have been canceled, sir.
I was canceled and I haven't even started my career yet, man. Oh gosh.
No,
I hope they don't go searching my Twitter or my Facebook feed.
Oh Lord, here's the thing. That's the go-to with everything. I've heard several people speak about it, and it's legitimately the modern day version of crying wolf. Okay. Everything is racist. If you don't like me politically, you're racist. If you don't like me on a theological basis, you're racist. If you don't like me on a fiscal responsibility basis, you're racist. If you don't like my stance on gun control, you're racist. Everything is, I mean, it's the ultimate quote unquote trump card in today's society. Everything is racist because it's racist. And if you dare ask why it's racist, well, you're just a racist.
I like the way you put it. It's the crying wolf. I understand if there are some legitimate racist things that happen. Okay. But what I get so
But it's hard to separate the legitimacy
no,
from
I don't think it is.
everybody calling everything right. Well, I mean, okay, so if he was to make a comment about the ownership of the bodega, right? You know, whether it was a guy from a different nation or whether it was a guy from a different ethnic background or whatever, which it doesn't appear from what I can see here in the article that does. But at the same time, if that was the case, you might talk about racism. But the simple fact that you're in a quote unquote, and this is the new, I don't know if you've heard this terminology, but it's a food desert, right? Because they don't have the large grocery stores. We had one of the guys in the, I think it was Doug, said that he grew up on Long Island. I had a chance to visit Long Island a few years ago, and they've got grocery stores. They're only 10 or 15 minutes away from downtown.
But you got to think the majority of people who live there probably don't own cars because of the parking and because there's no reason to. So they walk everywhere. They take the subway, something like that. So if you've got to, I mean, and I'm honestly, I'm not going to, I'm not going to fight them about the way that they've set things up, their geography up there. I mean, if this whole bodega culture is something that is a culture, quoting fingers, I don't understand why people were so aggressive in this instance, because not only did they see this TikTok, but they actually started digging deeper. Okay. So people started digging back through his TikToks and they found earlier TikToks where he was talking about moving to New York City for the job. And then they tagged the company in the video and then said, I don't think it's very flattering to have this type of person representing your company. And then the company reached out to him, or the company made a public statement saying they were firing him because that's not who they wanted representing them.
You know, and that works on both flip sides of the coin. I mean, what about the lady, the Harvard graduate, who went after the Trump voters years ago, was like 4 or 5 years ago, where she said, if you talk about Trump or anything like that, I will literally stab you. And then while you're bleeding, I'll show you that my paper cut is just as important as your stab wound. And then, I mean, they several conservative folks, and it was conservatives, it wasn't the liberals on the other side, went after her and went after her Twitter feed and went after her Instagram feed or whatever. And she lost her job. Again, it is the ultimate cancel culture, and it's based on the ultimate insult.
Which is ridiculous.
No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
If somebody's in that area, if somebody's in that arena and they're doing something that you don't like, the aggressive tactic to get them fired from their job. I mean, think about the kind of life that you have to lead, where if someone says something against you or offends you in somehow, even if it's the whole racist thing, or even if it's the whole Trump thing, or your political affiliation, abortion, whatever it is. So if you are in a position where you are so fragile that you can't take somebody making a flippant, stupid comment online, that you have to attack them. My question is not only about the mental stability of the person who's making such a stupid statement, but the mental stability and lifestyle of a person who stops and says, they offended me, I'm going to get them fired. The whole cancel culture is a flip side thing too. It's on both sides of this for sure.
It is on both sides of it. And
I've been railing against that for years because there's no reason for me to stop my life. I mean, all of the important things that you could be doing. All right. Think about the important advances in society that we can make. Like, how can we make ramen noodles less fattening? Okay. Those type of real legitimate breakthroughs in science that we need. But people are going to stop all of that because they're a snowflake that got their feelings hurt. So they're going to make sure somebody gets fired. You know, that is, to me, that goes beyond the pale.
Well, okay. So my issue is this: it legitimately is the cancel culture idea, and it's now where there is no such thing as freedom of speech anymore, because if I have the right to say anything I want to, but you don't. And that's been the way it is for it, and it's going on and getting worse and worse, exponentially each day, right? So I can say anything I want, but you can't because you disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to do everything I can to dox you. I'm going to do everything I can to take away your income. I'm going to do everything I can to destroy your family. I'm going to do everything. I mean, it's just like, I don't know if you saw this or not. I saw this literally just as I was driving home yesterday afternoon. Patrice Cullors from BLM. I don't know if you remember that whole scandal about how that, she bought a mansion, $6 million mansion or something like that. Candace Owens showed up on her doorstep, 7 months pregnant, showed up on Patrice Cullors' doorstep, knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I'd like to find out who lives here because this is listed as the BLM property." Right? Now, according to Candace Owens, she spoke to a white security guard who simply said that nobody was available and that they would ask him politely to leave. Candace was smart enough to have the whole thing on recording. Within minutes of her walking away from the door, Patrice Cullors took to social media crying and basically squeezing out false tears about, "Oh my gosh, they found where I live. My family is in jeopardy. We've got to put an end to racism." I mean, it was crazy. I mean, she went not only to the racist.
I'm pretty sure Candace Owens is an African-American female. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, that was the point, was, if this is BLM and this was a creative space, why can't I be a part of this too? But my point being is that, Patrice Cullors now is attacking Candace, and they're trying to do a cancel culture with her. Well, I mean, Candace got taken off of Twitter. She got taken off of, I think it was Instagram. There was a couple other things. I mean, just simply the accusations levied at somebody will destroy their lives. I mean, and whether you like Johnny Depp or not, I mean, look at what happened with him and Amber Heard, right? I mean, she just simply made an accusation, and the man lost his contract with Disney. He lost his contract with, a couple of other sponsorships that he had, all to find out that it was considered, he was found not guilty, or I should say he was found innocent or whatever. The defamation charges were on her. I mean, he lost all kinds of stuff because simply somebody made an accusation.
Yeah. Well, earlier when we were talking about laws, you change laws, you call them different things. I remember back when they had the no texting and driving laws that were passed, and my dad was like, "We've already got a law against no texting and no driving, and that is distracted driving laws."
Right.
It's the same thing here. They're just relabeling something. This is not the cancel culture. This is the bully culture. And people will bully until they destroy your character. They will bully until they get what they want out of you. Peter Serafine, a host over on Mojo, as well as over watching on Twitch. You can watch as well, Twitch and on Facebook. You can. He says calling someone a racist and getting them fired is a great way to win them over to your side. Yeah, for real. Because whenever somebody insults my integrity as well, I always immediately start listening to what they have to say. Right. All right. So, folks, okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back here, we're going to talk about this and more. And I've been teasing a little bit on Nancy Pelosi's boobs. So I guess I'm going to have to finally get to that. So keep it locked in right here on the breakdown. We'll be back in just a moment.
Don't tread on my mojo. Mojo 50.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
The moon landing, JFK, 5G, Biden won the election. Hey, Liz, does anyone have any new conspiracy theories? Because all the ones I know have come true. Join me, Ria Bow, here on Sunday Long Live Radio, live every Sunday of the year, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard, 10 a.m. UK, and 9 p.m. New South Wales. I'll see you Sunday.
All right, welcome back to the Breakdown, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. BreakDRadio.com is the website to go to for all the past radio shows. And for those of you who don't know, I also host the Odyssey on Odyssey Radio. We host the Freaky Friday shows, which drop every, you guessed it. But for those in Ludlow, Kentucky, it drops on Fridays, and that's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Odyssey Radio. ODYSY Radio is the website. You can also catch all the other fantastic paranormal talk radio shows there as well. Abnormal Realities, hosted by Rocky and Ron, and some great shows over there about remote viewing, shows about Bigfoot and cryptozoology, all those fantastic shows. The most recent show was dropped yesterday on the website, and I interviewed Rainey Hiley last week. We talked to Dave Emmons, and he was discussing with us his 59 years of alien abductions. Really, really fascinating conversation with Dave, and had he said it wasn't just abductions, it was interactions. So the interactions with that he had with aliens as well. So check out breakdradio.com and you'll be able to get that. And then head on over to breakdradio.com, click on the microphone in the bottom right-hand corner down there. You will also be able to leave your sound off about anything that we are discussing today. And I don't know if this is going to make somebody want to discuss this or if this is going to make somebody run away from the screen. But Nancy Pelosi decided to take a holiday. And on her holiday, she goes to a private beach over in Italy because, you know, she's Italian and that's what she can do, is a private beach over in Italy. And whilst she was there, there was a picture taken of her. And this picture was her she's just wearing a bathing suit top. Like it's like a one piece, but underneath it, she's wearing like jeans. Okay. And Tucker Carlson talked about it. And after he discussed it, everybody started posting all over about it. I'm going to show it here only because of what we're discussing right now, only because I teased it. If I didn't tease it, I wouldn't be talking about it. But if I don't, I'll make myself a liar. Just a second. I'm going to put the picture up here on chat. I'm sorry, in the video if you're watching over at Facebook or Twitch. So here it is. Brian, shield your eyes if you need to. But this is Nancy Pelosi walking across the aisleway, walking across a beach in Italy. And as you can see, she's walking by two other ladies. And what everybody is making a big deal about is the fact that Nancy Pelosi is 82 years old and she has, you know, cleavage. She's wearing this suit, which is exposing some of her breasts, right? I'm thinking, honestly, who cares? You know, I'm wondering, why is this such a big deal? Why are people talking about this? And I think the only reason people are talking about it is because Tucker Carlson brought it up on his show the other night as well. So I'm confused thinking, because Tucker Carlson says this. Let's go ahead and play what Tucker says here. That way you all can get an idea of why the left is going insane.
America over this last 4th of July weekend and went up on a private beach in Italy. And we're going to go out tonight by singeing your retinas with a photograph of that event. This is third in line from the presidency on a private beach in Italy. Soak it in, ladies and gentlemen. Close your eyes as you go to sleep tonight and try to get that image out of your head. If you can. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. The best night with the ones you love.
So there's Tucker. Now, I'm pretty sure after Tucker said something about it, because whatever Tucker says, or whatever he disagrees with, or whatever theory he brings up there, that is automatically going to cause the left to freak out about it. If they agree with it or they disagree with it, they're going to freak out. So now you have people talking about how she looks great for 82, how, she's had, having, the ability to have a body like that, like she's got a great body. And these liberal guys talking about how much they want to, be with her and all that stuff. And I'm like, first off, she's an 82-year-old woman. If I'm not mistaken, gravity impacts things and stuff starts to look a lot bigger than what it does initially, the older you get. And I'm not trying to be crass here. I'm just trying to point out the obvious. It's not like like she is somehow a Playboy model, or she's going to be on the front cover of Maxim magazine, if that's even still a magazine. I don't know if it's still around. But what's funny to me, and I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent on this, but you have women on the right who are attractive women, yet they are not talked about. They're not discussed. Their looks are typically underplayed and underwhelmed. Now, you look at somebody like Melania Trump. I don't think she was, the most gorgeous woman ever. Obviously, that's my wife. But when you have somebody like that who is classy, as compared to somebody like Michelle Obama, who was treated like she was a supermodel and she was on the cover of all these magazines, yet you have Melania Trump, who was a real supermodel, like literally a supermodel. But nobody ever talked about how classy she was, how classy her dress was, and how she carried herself, and how classy of a person she was. None of that was ever discussed. So it's just odd to me that this becomes the normative thing when you have a woman whose looks are attacked, and it may not have even been appropriate for Tucker to say anything about her looks or comment about anything like that at all. But it seems like if you're on the left, right women are ugly, and you think regardless of how doggedly looking your females are on the left, they're hot, and the reverse is on the right. So it's just odd to me. I don't know, Brian, but there it is. There's the conversation that's centering.
I'm going to say this about that. One thing that you're overlooking here, Aaron, is that alcohol has a tendency to preserve things, and we know that she is completely pickled. So, I mean, it's probably not as bad as you think it is.
What's not as bad as I think it is?
Whatever you were referring to earlier. Yeah, don't go there. I'm just saying.
No.
I don't know.
Like, what are you saying? I'm not referring to.
I was trying to be funny about.
I think it is.
I was trying to be funny about how pickled she is, because she's always sauced. I mean, no matter how you stack it. Anyways, I don't
backtrack. You better backtrack fast.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to backpedal, and you're not helping me here, man. You're not helping me.
I'm just
help me.
Are you looking at? Should I take today? Am I causing you to lust?
I am not looking at that picture. No, no, I don't want to see that picture ever again. Oh dear God, no.
It's probably best if we don't say anything about the looks of women regardless. All right, folks, quick break. We'll be back in a minute discussing this and more. Talk about the Georgia Guidestone, also things we need 10 things to know about abortion, and why we should not fear Satan and demons. All that coming up right here on The Breakdown. Keep it locked in.
Ask me the questions that get you kicked out of Bible studies and sent to therapy.
You're listening to The Breakdown. Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Matthew 25 Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities I'll actually endorse because I know them. I've worked with them, and I know almost all of the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to m25m.org, m25m.org.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I was busy eating this delicious meal from preparewithmojo50.com. You look hungry. Do you want some? Of course you do. Get your own. You can go to preparewithmojo50.com. That's preparewithmojo50.com. You can't have mine.
All right, the Georgia Guidestones have exploded. And people are all up in arms about this, either because they're extremely happy or because they're scratching their heads going, what the crap are the Georgia Guidestones? I don't know if a lot of people really knew what the Georgia Guidestone were and the Georgia Guidestones are or were, unless you listen to this show or other shows that covered those types of comments or those types of stories and news. So I looking at the video of this, trying to pull it up here right now. But if you don't know, the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed this past week. Somebody planted some type of explosive device. And when it exploded, they realized or determined that it was unsafe. So they decided to go ahead and tear it down. Now, it all happened pretty quickly. It was pretty interesting here. I'm trying to figure out, I had this video the other day because we talked about it a little bit. I'm trying to get that.
Aaron, I thought it was an act of God. Didn't you see the time that the time signature on the explosion, and it was the same date as Christ was crucified? I mean, come on, don't you watch TikTok?
I'm going to pull that up that you sent to me because it is just, that stuff is so dumb.
I'm sorry. I just thought that was hilarious.
All right, here, hold on just a second. That's the wrong one. I'm trying to get to my, I'm pulling up the video right now. So here's this. I'll play this for you. Doug is saying in the chat over on Facebook that we should watch the security light in the video for some reason. I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to be looking for there.
Elaborate on it, Doug, if you will.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play this. So here's the video, the moment. So this is somebody that's walking up to it. You can see just barely in the background, somebody walking up to it. The really, really fast person that's walking. It looks like an alien of some sort. But then they just roll up there real quick, and they're thinking that was the moment that the explosives were placed. And then down here is, let's see if we watch this video here. So there's a car that pulls up. I didn't know that the Georgia Guidestones were watched like that. Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that they kept an eye on them. But then, wondering if this is the explosion video. But then there's an explosion that blows up. They have like two shots of the explosion. So boom, there's one that blows one of the monuments up, and it flips to another one and destroys it there. So there was this TikTok video that Bryan sent to me that is purporting to say that this was an act of God. and that because of the same time the explosion that happened was the same time that Jesus was crucified. Doug is saying a split second before the explosion. So what's supposed to happen to the camera here, Doug? I'm not sure what we're looking for. The security light itself, you're talking about how it looks like it blinks or gets brighter. So there's a flash of the security light. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's like the impact of the explosion, like the concussive force of the explosion that's causing that to blow up. I know, I don't know. But I do see what you're talking about there, Doug. I'm trying to get this pulled up here, Brian, about the TikTok here, that it's a sign from God that the two guidestones were destroyed.
Well, while you're doing the tech stuff, I'll just kind of elaborate for the people that are listening. So basically, we were talking when we were doing our sound check,
actual security footage.
Sorry, go ahead.
The crazy conspiracy theories, and there's always some kind of goofy conspiracy theory that abounds about everything, right? So, God destroyed the guidestones, or I mean, there's always some kind of crazy thing about when these things happen. And so I was scrolling through TikTok one night before I went to bed, and I found this video that tries to purport that the time signature on the security video was 4:33 and whatever AM or whatever. And apparently the person who has this video knows that happens to be the exact date that Christ was crucified, which I have been in theology for a long time. And I don't know that anybody has ever told me the date that Christ was crucified. Anyway, so Aaron, go ahead. I just think it's funny. We were making fun of the conspiracy theories that always seem to abound when this stuff happens. And then we come across this video.
Yeah, here we go. See, there we go.
Here is the actual security footage that shows the exact moment that the Georgia Guidestones exploded. Now, if you notice something weird, look at the time when the explosion happens. It's at 4:03 and 33 seconds. We all know what 33 means. Is it just a coincidence? You be the judge.
And I love how they have the
Here is the actual
they have the
Stranger Things.
What is it? The creepy the Stranger Things theme playing in the background.
Yeah. So here's the deal. And you can sound off on this as well in the Facebook and Twitch chat. The Georgia Guidestones were created back in 1979. They were built finally like in 1980, 1981, something like that. And they were done by an individual person who was supposed to be acting on behalf of some larger group of people. And there's been a lot of speculation over the years who this person was, but the guy's name was R.C. Christian. And some believe that that's, Rosicrucians, that it was from the Rosy Cross, that secret society, and that there was a connection between that and why they were put up. But here's my question. Regardless of what these stones say down in Georgia, in some rural field out in the middle of nowhere that has no traffic and not even a bodega around hardly, if these are down there and they're destroyed, what impact does that really have?
Wait, where are the tourists going to get milk and yogurt at if there's no bodega?
Exactly. What are they going to be able to eat while they're down there visiting if it's just like, if there's no stores down there? But my question, so I always think about this, and this is the way I always try to process information. What is it about this that makes it more important, or makes it like if somebody were to blow that stuff up on purpose, what would be the grander scheme, the grander cause of all that? And honestly, I don't see any legitimate purpose. I don't see that advances the New World Order at all by having a conspiracy to blow them up. I don't see how that stops the New World Order or stops the deep state or any type of nationalized government or anything like that, or any type of world government at all if you blow these up. I'm kind of bummed because I've wanted to go see him. I'm only like 5.5, 6 hours away from where this is, I think, or maybe even 8 hours. It's like a day's trip, something like that. I can't remember the exact time, but I've wanted to go see him for years. I'm bummed that I've been sitting on my laurels for so long and I haven't gone down there to see them. But to me, it's just an explosion that happened down there by somebody that was trying to make a statement. They defaced property that doesn't belong to them, which is a sin. It's also against the law. And I don't see the reason behind it, because the New World Order did not crumble. Sauron's eye did not fall out of socket. The Joe Biden is still the implanted Chi-Com president, quotey fingers. So I don't understand what the big deal about that was and why people are so worked up. Now, everybody's acting like this is some kind of win for the conservative side or win for Christians because this was done. You know what? A big win was the abortion thing that happened in the courts. A big win and a big reason to fight, a big purpose for that would be another angle for us to focus on is how we can eradicate abortion, not just from a federal standpoint, but eradicate abortion from a state standpoint. That would be a huge deal. But blowing up a couple of stone monuments down in Georgia, I don't see the value of that. You can sound off.
I don't see what all the big, I don't see what the big deal about it is, other than, again, it's one of those situations or one of those conversations that we had the other night where it's a matter of conspiracy theories abound. Whenever you have these mystical things involved, it always tends to lead to our creative thinking or imaginative thinking. And of course, like I said, it's easy when you see, the crowds tear down statues in public, but it's when you do these things under the darkness of night, and it's supposed to be some kind of big issue or some kind of big, clandestine type event that always causes people to go, wonder what they're trying to prove.
Yeah, I mean, we do wonder what they're trying to prove. I really don't understand the purpose of that. We have a comment over in the Facebook chat that says, who destroys things? Doug says, who destroys things? In my tally, it's not the conservative side. Well, it really depends. You look at all the violent insurrectionists that happened, that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, right? Those are violent conservatives. Look at the production crew for Stephen Colbert, who were in the Capitol, one of the federal buildings, without an escort. They were violently destroying property over there just by standing in there and videoing things.
By the way, did you hear that that crew was released while the insurrectionists from January 6th still have not been released?
Because there is no justice for the folks that were involved in the January 6th incursion. I don't call it a riot. I don't think it was a riot. I don't think it was deadly. I don't think anything like that. This whole thing is just a faux to distract and to prevent Donald Trump from running for president again, which honestly, I mean, I'm done with the whole thing, to be honest with you. I'm done with the whole thing.
You mentioned something a second ago about Bill Biden being installed as the Chi-Com's president. Did you hear the biggest thing about him taking the American oil reserves and selling them to China? China
to a company that Hunter Biden had dealings with as well. And then,
oh my God.
Nothing to see there. Nothing
to see there. I'm sure it wasn't on a laptop or anything, but it's amazing. We're paying $6 a gallon for gas as the national average here in America, and you're selling our national oil reserves to China. What's your problem, man?
Yeah, for real. Well, that's okay. Let's move on from that here. We've got this story I want to cover. This is 10 things you should know about abortion. This was written by Scott Klusendorf. It was over at Crossway. And I thought it was pretty fascinating because there's so many people, you have like a mixed bag of emotions of folks when Roe v. Wade was overturned by Supreme Court and it was sent back to the states. You have, of course, the left going crazy, saying that we've taken their right away from abortion, right of abortion away, but there is no right of abortion. It doesn't exist. I don't care what interpretation of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, the Mayflower Compact, any law, any rule, anything you say, nothing gives you a right to abortion. Nothing gives you the right to take another life. But there's a lot of Christians on the other side as well who are taking the side of trying to be advocates for those who are in situations that might find them in trouble. Now, I understand if you're a biblical counselor, pastor, you're working in a church, and a young lady comes to you, and they have, whatever reason they have, they were raped, there was some form of molestation in their family, or they were, just out and they were, drunk, or they just willingly consented. They weren't drunk, they willingly consented. Some way they become pregnant, and then they want to have an abortion. And then the pastor's job is to listen, to counsel, to impart hope, to give strength to that person through teaching the scriptures and applying them to that person's life. But it's never to say you make your own choice, you follow your heart, you do what's best for you. None of that is right. Abortion is a hill to die on for churches. And some churches aren't taking it like that. Some churches aren't even speaking out about it. Some churches are more concerned that Creflo Dollar says the tithing is not biblical than they are about abortion. So Scott Klusendorf has 10 reasons here, but I want to run through very quickly about why we should continue the Great Commission and include the battle against abortion with that as well. First off here, number one, pro-life advocates present a formal case for their position, formal logically, meaning that you can form a logical conversation about this. The first premise it's built upon, it is wrong to intentionally kill an innocent human being. Two, abortion intentionally kills an innocent human being. Therefore, your conclusion logically follows that abortion is wrong. Now, this conversation that we're having right now, many of the abortion rights advocates do not believe that you are killing somebody. They don't believe that they're killing a person. They believe that they're killing a lump of cells. The second thing here is that pro-life advocate can defend that syllogism in less than 1 minute. Somebody says, I'm pro-life because the science of embryology establishes that from the earliest stages of development, you are a distinct, living, and whole human being. You didn't come from an embryo. You once were an embryo. True, you were immature, had yet to visibly develop, but the kind of thing you were was not in question. And there is no essential difference between the embryo you once were and the adult you are today that justifies you at the earlier stage of development. Different size, development, location, dependency are not good reasons for killing you then, and not good reasons for killing anybody now. So that is defending the pro-life view. Your location, your size, your stage of life does not determine your value. Number three, abortion intentionally kills a human being is being conceded by many who perform and defend the practice. Abortionist Warren Herm writes, we have reached a point in this particular technology where there is no possibility of denying an act of destruction. It is before one's eyes. The sensations of dismemberment flow through the forceps like an electrical current. Feminist Camille Paglia frankly admits abortion is murder, the extermination of the powerless by the powerful. Liberals, for the most part, have shrunk from facing the ethical consequences of their embrace of abortion, which results in the annihilation of concrete individuals and just clumps of insensate tissue. That's a feminist. That's an abortionist. And that's an abortionist saying that there is no arguable discussion saying that you're not killing life. The pro-life, number four, pro-life, even if the word abortion, the Bible is pro-life, even if the word abortion does not appear. And this is like a running theme today, Brian, because we've talked about this. It's illegal to text and drive, not because the law says it's illegal to text and drive. It's illegal to be distracted. There's already a law about that, but it's also a moral law, even though the Bible doesn't say that it's illegal that it's sinful to text and drive or to be distracted in driving. The Bible's principles upon which it was built, a foundation is a love for your neighbor. You're not thinking of your neighbors when you're distracted while you're driving, right? You're thinking only of yourself. You want to answer that text. It's the same thing here. Even though the Bible doesn't say abortion is murder, abortion is wrong, it doesn't use that term. The Bible is pretty clear on when human life begins and that murder is wrong. So yes, the Bible is against abortion at face value.
Well, you know, it's like so many other arguments that we make about abortion or same-sex marriage or anything else like that. Really what we're doing, Aaron, as God's creation, and as one person put it, creatures from the dirt, we're taking God's words, God's definitions, and we're changing them and perverting them and giving them new meanings or new applications to basically allow us and our will to subvert God's will or to subvert God's plan, or what we think we're subverting God's plan. So, you know, like I said, with abortion, it's not murder. It's a clump of cells. You slough that off like you would just dry skin, right?
Right.
Same-sex marriage is marriage because two people really love each other, and you should quit being a bigot. But these all go back to, and I was talking to my church the other day about this, and I thought this was fantastic, and it never really occurred to me. The gender argument was settled in Genesis chapter 2, right? Because God created male and female, and he used the proper pronouns, he and she, in scripture.
Right.
So from at least 6,000 years ago, as best we can tell, God settled the gender argument and the what the left calls where we're conflating gender and sex together. Right. So it's settled. It's in the Bible. Leave it alone. You don't have the ability or the authority to change it. Same thing with abortion. Abortion is murder. Every abortion ends in the death of a life.
Right.
Period. The end.
Exactly.
It's
and
murder.
Even though the Bible, the Bible doesn't address that, but the Bible also doesn't address depression, because depression is not in the Bible, but it does talk about despair. The Bible doesn't talk about dinosaurs, but it does talk about great land animals, great fish, etc. The Bible's alleged silence on abortion does not mean that its authors condoned the practice. Of course, that's true. Preaching on the abortion is not a distraction from the Great Commission, the responsibilities of the local church, but integral to it. The Great Commission, Christ charged the church to make disciples. The way we make disciples is to teach them to obey his commands. One of those commands is that we are not to shed innocent blood. Abortion is the shedding of innocent blood. Therefore, preaching on abortion relates to the Great Commission responsibilities of the local church. That's logic. You use logic like that. The pro-life position, number 7, does not rely on personal perspectives. To assert that only a woman can speak on abortion is to commit the ad hominem fallacy. That is attacking the person rather than the argument he or she presents. It also, where's the other page? Oh, it slipped over. It also raises a troubling question: which women get to speak? And then, of course, what issues are men allowed to speak on as well? Number 8, pro-life Christians tell a better equality story. They absolutely do, because you're teaching equality from the very moment a person is conceived. Number 9, abortion victim photography changes the narrative. That could be something that people can discuss. Talking about about putting up pictures of abortions, babies post-abortion, dismembered babies, etc. Whether or not that is legit to put up, that's a really good argument. But he says disturbing images change how people feel about abortion, while facts and arguments can change how they think. Both are vital in changing behavior. Number 10, the remedy for post-abortion guilt is not avoidance, it's forgiveness, which is what comes through the gospel of Jesus Christ, which, again, full circle, where we're preaching the tenets and the scriptures to ensure that people are getting their worth and their value recognized via Christ through forgiveness and grace. All right, so there's 10 reasons why abortion, 10 things you should know about abortion. And that's a really good article. Again, if you go to crossway.org, you can find that there, written by Scott Klusendorf, right after we had the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Okay, we have a couple of minutes left here on the show. I don't know if you know about this or not, Brian, but you know James Caan, right?
I do know James Caan, yes.
Yeah, he passed away the other day, 82 years old. I don't know if you saw that or not. 82 years old.
I did see that. Yes.
Yep. He was in The Godfather, arguably one of the greatest movies of all time. Then, of course, he goes and does something like Elf as well, just to show you the different kinds of how flexible he was. Brian's song, he did that as well. And just fantastic. And they have a list of clips here on this also, but that's pretty sad to see him go. I thought he was a great actor, and they were always talking about doing an Elf too, but I don't know if you knew this or not, but the director, I know his name. What's his name? The director of Elf is the same guy who does
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau. Thank you. Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell did not get along. So Jon Favreau,
I would imagine it would be hard to get along with Will Ferrell, because he's
not funny.
He's funny, but I could also see that where he could be just kind of like obnoxious too, because I don't think he's ever serious.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy here. I was just sorry, I was distracted. Tony Sirocco died yesterday as well. He was on the guy.
Yeah, I saw that. I was followed. It seems like a bunch of the old gangsters are passing away. Aaron, if you got just a second, I wanted to go back to something. You mentioned something about in that article about abortion, about the answer is love and forgiveness. Did you hear about the Satanist co-founder out of South Africa who left the Satanist church after giving his heart to Jesus? Did you hear about that? It just happened a couple of days ago from what they published an article. Anyways, we can go over it. Yeah, we can go over it a little bit later, but I just think if you guys get a chance, go out and look up this guy's TikTok. Now, again, I'm not here to say somebody's saved or not saved. That's between them and Jesus. But I'm telling you what, this guy, as he was talking, he started crying and he started just sobbing about how this woman, after he was vile and vicious and hateful and just using all kinds of cursing and all kinds of things. And after the interview, she walked over and she hugged him. And without any kind of publication or without any kind of reason to publish the fact that she was being kind to him, she hugged him and she told him, no matter what you say, God still loves you. And he said, I've never been hugged like that before. And again, just to watch him
crying right now.
Huh?
Are you crying?
I am not crying. I'm not crying. It's just, I think it's awesome. Again, if you guys get a chance, go out and look at it. Maybe we'll post an article on the website or something like that. But just to hear this man's testimony, and I'm like you, Aaron. I really believe with all my heart. I believe with all my heart. The answer, no matter how vile someone is, the answer is the love of God. The answer is the love of Christ. You show them love. You show them, I don't know if respect is the right word, but just show them the love of God. I don't think that, well, we can get into it another time, but
no, I agree. I exactly agree with what you're saying. That's something that has been, that's something that I think a lot of people really need to realize, but something I've also been realizing is that, especially during Pride Month, there were so many angry things put out on Facebook, so many angry memes, so many vile comments that were made about, calling homosexuals derogatory names and thinking that you're able to do that because you're quoting fingers, speaking the truth, and people hiding behind speaking the truth and making that cover up for the fact that they're total douchebags. But if a person needs something, they're not going to go to the one who's angrily screaming at them and freaking out. They're going to go to the person that actually shows a little bit of grace and a little bit of kindness towards them. And sometimes, as long as it is not void of the gospel, that is going to be a huge help. All right, folks, now it's time.
And that's,
I'll go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
There you get 10 seconds.
I was going to say that's always been my issue with the street preaching, is there's a way to do it and do it in love and not sound like a complete jerk.
All right, folks, here it is. Now you've been waiting for it. I know you've been wanting it, and here you go.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the time where we scour the internet to find those things that make you go, what the foxtrot is happening? Here is an interesting story about a young man out of Britain. This guy, he is an extreme tattoo fan. I don't know how much this is. If you want to look it up real quick, Brian, but 75,000 pounds in what 75,000 pounds would be in American dollars. Okay. But here is this young man who spent 75,000 pounds to turn himself. He's a tattoo enthusiast, to turn himself into, I don't know, some kind of like literally black tainted person, right? Not
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. What 75,000 pounds?
$90,000.
$90,000. This
$90,000.
This guy spent $90,000. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, you can see this. $90,000 this guy spent. He is completely black with ink. And he has there's like a tattoo on his chest that looks like it's just the exposed skin under the tattoo, but completely black. He's been colored in. And he says the most painful part was the inside of his bum. The inside of his bum. First, who would want to get the inside of their bum tattooed with anything? And who thinks you're looking at the inside of their bum and will be able
And
to
how
see
much
it?
did you have to pay the tattoo artist to do the inside of your bum?
I'm sure you had to have like either you're holding and spreading on your own, or somebody, like there are 3 people doing it. There's like 2 people spreading and 1 person tattooing. I don't know logistically. I can't figure out how you would make something like that work. But
You know,
what
it may
the
be like they use
foxtrot?
a dental thing where they maybe have a device that does something like that.
Well, I mean, like those little separators, you know, what is it they use for you know, a woman's examination? You can use that as well. You know, anyway, I don't know who he's showing his bunghole to or his bum to, but I pity the person who sees that. And I pity the person who had to do it. All right, folks, that's it for us here on The Breakdown. Go to breaktradio.com. You'll be able to catch all the other shows. Head over to Mojo as well. And until next time, make Christ supremely valuable. All right, folks who are watching over on Facebook or Twitch, we are off of the stream right now, but we can continue to talk for just a few minutes if you all want to hang out with us. Give me about 10 seconds here so I can kill the stream. All right. All right, and we're out. All right. Thanks again, Brian, for hanging out. Thanks again, everybody who's hanging out over there on Facebook as well.
$90,000.
$90,000.
That's ridiculous, dude.
I mean, and honestly, it's like, I can understand you getting a tat on like your chest or on your your arm. No, but I'm talking about like aesthetically. You want people to see that so that they can see your arms. But unless you're walking around going, hey, buddy, look at this. Look, I got my bum tattooed on the inside. Look at my anus. Look at that. That's all dirty, bro. Oh, that's just straight tattoo right there. What do you think about that right there? Get on with it. Tell me what you think about that. Huh? Look at me,
dude.
bum.
The man is he's got to be a manly man, because I mean, do you realize how many needles and needle pricks that he?
Unless he's used to it.
Oh my Lord!
I don't.
And
know
what
if
about?
I would, go ahead.
Are other parts of his body like? I mean, we didn't talk about this on the air, but is his manhood tattooed the same way?
Oh my gosh, man! I don't know. Let me see if I can find more about this information, because now that you say that, it's not like I'm not going to say I want to see the guy's junk. I just want to know if it is.
I don't want to see the guy's junk either, but I mean, I'm just saying, oh God, if like the inside of his bum is, I can't. Oh, that just hurts my brain. That just.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we'll play the video here. I got a video.
That hurts my brain, dude. That seriously hurts my brain.
Oh my gosh, it hurts my rear end.
Don't say it.
Let's see what we got.
Oh.
Let's get this over here. I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the stream for the 2 people who are hanging out with us watching this. You know, by the way, we were pretty steady. I think I could talk about this right now. We were pretty steady. We were holding at about 5 to 9 people viewing here on my personal Facebook page. I haven't checked Twitch yet, but we had a couple of viewers. I knew we had at least 1 viewer over there on Twitch, but we had a couple of people that were viewing. When I started talking about that abortion stuff, gone. Our numbers like plummeted.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That happened a lot. Like I was that happened. I was on another show like that. And whenever we started talking about religion, the numbers just started plummeting. Like, so I was trying to not talk so much about religion, not because I'm trying to shy away from it. Of course, I don't want to do that. You could put that stuff in the show, which is what you have to do, especially with something like this, because it's we want to make sure we're preaching the gospel consistently. But the numbers, man, they just start tanking when people start talking about this stuff. And I honestly think
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I honestly think it's because people are tired of hearing about it so much. You know, you have a weekly show that comes on,
I think part of it
folks are always blasting this for 6 days a week.
I think it could be part of that, but I think also too is that we've got a culture right now, Aaron, that nobody really wants to. They don't want to tackle these hard issues, and I don't really know why. There's a lot of folks out there that just don't want to talk about these issues that are so tender, if that's the right word for it.
Well, I'm not sure I agree. I think the fact is that so many people want to talk about all this controversial stuff. I mean, turn on any talk radio station, except for Mojo, because Mojo has a lot of different programming on there. Odyssey is complete. It's all paranormal stuff. So you can turn that on over there and you can just like let your mind go, especially with like Abnormal Realities or the Freaky Friday edition, all of that. You just kind of let your mind go and float. Everybody's, you're really talking about a lot of different paranormal stuff. But when you listen to stations, Mojo is an exception because the different shows we have on there, the different topics and things that are covered. But you turn on like Fox News, CNN, any local AM talk radio station, and you're going to find the same thing. Everybody is talking about the exact same topics. And like literally, you'll start in the morning with whoever the morning host is, local or not, and they'll talk about the political talking points, and it'll flow over right into their 9 to 12 guy, right over their 12 to 3, the 3 to 6, all that. And it's the same topics. It's going to be about abortion. It's going to be about Trump. It's going to be about Biden. It's going to be about the election. It'll be about the gas. But all of that stuff is just constant. And I think people are to the point where they're tired of hearing the same things over and over again. So you need to shake it up a little bit and make it a little more enjoyable for people to want to listen to the show.
Well, again, and I like the platform that we have right now because we are going back and forth with some comedic relief, and we're talking about not just theological stuff, but I still think that Christians need to take some hardline stances on some things. And one of them, in my opinion, one of them is abortion. And I think the other one is same-sex marriage, just to be 100% honest with you. I really do. I think it's something that just needs to take place. It's something that we need to discuss.
Absolutely. There are some things that are hills to die on, some things that you have to be sure that you're constantly, not constantly, but not forgetting to talk about at all. But here, but when you really want to talk about the hard hitting, really important stuff, you have to talk about this story here where the guy got the inside of his bum tattooed and said it was the most painful thing. So let's watch this video real quick, Brian, because we need to talk about the stuff that matters.
We're going to keep talking about this, aren't we? You're not going to let me off this one.
I'm going to show you what this guy looks like. I like the music. So that's like, look at that. That's his stomach.
I mean, from a just artistic value, it's pretty incredible.
I don't know
I mean,
about it.
I'm not a big tattoo fan, but you have to admit there are some pretty incredible tattoos out there.
I'm not sure about, there's another picture of him right there. You can see, I'm not sure about, I don't see much artistry here. Like, that eyeball, that whole eye and the teeth thing. Hold on just a second. I don't know what this is. I don't want that to play. I don't know about the eye on the stuff, eye and the teeth thing. That looks pretty cool. But really all the dude did was went to a tattoo artist and just said, color me black. This is like the kid that in your kindergarten class who brings you a paper and it's all the same color, just scribbled over the picture. And there's really nothing of value there. No artistic, no like future Van Gogh or anything, just like scribble with your tongue.
Remind me not to let you talk to my kids in the future. I mean, maybe they just really tried, Aaron. I mean, maybe all he had was black crayons. You don't know.
Well, maybe the black is the child showing their inherent racism because black is just scribbled all over the place.
Or maybe because you noticed black, you're the racist.
Maybe I don't like you saying that because I'm not. You're gonna get me double canceled here, Brian. You're gonna get me double canceled.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. Let me switch this back here real quick. So this, let me see if I can't get more pictures of this guy. So here he is, just scribbled all over. There's another shot of him right there. It's like on his chest there. I mean, that looks pretty cool. It's like a disco ball within a mouth. Wait a second. Head to toe trans. Yeah, the chef has since splurged a fortune on his head to toe transformation and includes piercings and jewelry on his body. He said he's forked out around 75,000 pounds on his tattoos and spent another 12,000 pounds on his piercings and jewelry. So 12,000 pounds on piercings and jewelry, in addition to the 75,000 pounds.
And he says the only places I haven't tattooed are my face, ears, soles of my feet, and parts of my palm, which means his junk is tattooed, dude. Oh my gosh.
Goodness gracious. Although he sometimes gets hateful comments on ink covered appearance, Remy said he doesn't care about what people think. Obviously, because nobody cares what you ink.
Oh my gosh.
No, let's see. I never get bad or hateful comments from any family or stranger in person. I only ever hear those sorts of comments for people online. Blah, blah, blah. He has advice for people who want to start their own tattoo journey. He has more than 180,000 followers on Instagram. Said, I would say not to be in a hurry. The journey is the funnest part.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what you're saying is that don't cover up the entire canvas in your first shot, because then you won't have anything else to cover at all, I guess. Anyway, so your question is answered, Brian. I don't want to say you're the only dude who thought that, but definitely just you got the answer to your question. The dude's junk is tattooed.
I guess.
Now you got to think about that. Who would be the person? Who would you be paying to do that? And then also, who is the person who would say, yeah, I'll do that. I'll tattoo it up. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that's weird.
I don't know.
All right. There was a couple things we didn't get to on the show, so we'll go ahead and hit that now for those who are still watching the stream. And plus, I like to hear myself talk. You can head on over to breakdradio.com again.
I'm going to take a quick break if you don't mind, Aaron, real quick. But I'll be right back.
Okay, well, hurry it up because I'm going to have to add them till you get back, because this next story is something I want you to hear.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm glad this is formal and we're not actually technically on the air, because this is a professional setup here, folks. We're a professional outfit. So just to give you all a heads up, you can watch on Facebook and Twitch now. So I've set that up. I think we got some comments over there on Twitch from Peter Seraphine. And so Peter Seraphine says, I try to be different by spending the whole hour in a deep dive into one topic. And that's fine, because some people look for those shows. Like there are certain shows that I listen to. Peter, if you're still watching over there on Twitch, there are certain shows that I listen to. And thank you for the British accent comments. I've been doing it for quite a while. Thank you. But anyways, there are certain shows where you tune in and that's what they do. Like you expect, hey, I want to hear a topic about, I want to hear a conversation about this. If it's about taxes, if it's about abortion, if it's about theology, about the Bible, whatever that topic is, that person's going to do a deep dive into that and they're going to discuss it in all of that. So I'm totally fine with all of that. The thing that also that I try to do here is I try to break that up, because I don't want to end the conversation. Like if I do a show and it's like, okay, I did a show and it's about, the incomprehensibility of God. So here's a 52-minute broadcast. It's all about the incomprehensibility of God. Well, the next show, you've got to do something completely different, right? You've got to do another topic, unless it's like a two-parter, but you got to do something completely different. So whenever what I try to do is I try to have conversations that last 7 to 10 minutes, something like that, a segment style conversation. That way, if the next broadcast or a couple of broadcasts, I want to go back and touch on that. Now I have the previous conversation to build on, and I haven't beaten it into the ground. Not saying that you do, Peter. I'm just looking at it from my perspective. That way it's not beaten into the ground, and I can pick up that topic and have another conversation at another time. Because I don't want anybody to ever think, and I would never purport to think that I have the definitive episode when it comes to, states' rights or issues like that. I would never think that I would have that definitive episode or push somebody to that particular one and say, this is all that I have to say about that topic, all the things that I want to say about that topic. But, again, talking to people like you, Peter, that do radio shows, you feed off everybody. You kind of get information from other people. How do you do it? How do you discuss it? How do you run it on your show? And what can I do to improve that as well? That's, and I think that's a good thing, as long as, people who are in talk radio have a tendency to think that they're always right about everything. So when asked, hey, can I give you a little bit of advice? Hey, I've got some, I've got a method for you that might want to try. Got something else you may want to pick up and look at. Something like that. That could, what people have to do is realize that you have to have enough humility to listen to other people who want to speak into your lives and make things better, for sure. Otherwise, you're just going to end up losing out on a possibly very rich and very good conversation where you can learn from other people. Hope that helps. I hope you're still listening, Peter. Hope you didn't turn me off there. But breakdradio.com, you all can check that out. A great feature that we have over there. I'm trying to think of a name of this, by the way, for sound offs is what I've been going by. But you can go to breakdradio.com, and in the bottom right corner, there's a little microphone. And if you touch on that or click on that, it records your voice, just like a voice memo. And then it sends me a notification that you've done that, and then we can play that on the show. You can also do that when the show is off air. It's always live, always going all the time. So you can gather that. We had a listener do that last week, but I haven't covered what he wanted to talk about because I really don't want to talk about it, to be honest with you. But if you leave a voicemail or leave a sound off and I like it, I'll play it on the show. If not, you and the good Lord will ever know that you did that. And also the new website. So if you could do me a favor, if you're watching on Twitch or Facebook, be sure to share this with everyone, everywhere that you can, because we're trying to get the message out and doing the show. I think we can, especially in this climate, like Bryan and I were talking about, especially in this climate, we got to be able to laugh at ourselves. We got to be able to laugh at people who get tattoos on the inside of their bums, and the piercings. I never did understand the piercings, the purpose of having the gauged piercings. Yeah, I saw that, Peter. I'll get with you when the show's over here. So definitely looking forward to hearing from you, talking to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. I think I had you on the show last July when your book came out. I had Peter Seraphin. If you go to, I've got to get your profile done on the website as well, Peter. I'm going to send you a link, Peter. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to send you a link, and for guests on the show. And when you are a guest on the show, you fill out your own information. And then when I get that, you register yourself as a guest. You put all your information in there, your name, email, your bio, your website, your title, your photo, all your social media links, everything. And then when I go back to that show, I can now tag you and add you as a guest on that show. So when everybody goes to the guest section on the website, they can see Peter Seraphin, and then I can add you to that. So I'm going to message you that on Facebook. Sorry, folks. I hope that's not too much of a personal business. If you're listening or watching, you're one of the 3 people that's on there right now on Facebook Live. Hit me up and let me know. Let's see. I can hear you, Bryan. Man, dude.
I'm back.
Dude, man, we heard everything. You left your mic on.
I know better than that, dude. But thanks
honestly,
anyways.
I think your screen shook, like the camera shook, and we heard the cracking. Like it registered all the way up here. I felt it on the Richter scale. It was like a rolling thunder.
Go away. Okay. Just go away.
Oh man. There we go. Here, Peter, I'm going to send that.
I don't even like you anymore. You know that?
Not a lot of people do. Okay. Here's what we're going to cover. I think we'll cover this and then we'll head off. We'll bug off out of here. Let everybody get back to their beautiful Saturdays. Thanks everybody for listening, by the way, and for supporting the broadcast, and for not being one of the ones who totally tanked when we had a topic change. So you used to work at Radio Shack back in the day.
I did. I was actually a manager for Radio Shack.
And I was one of the ones who shortened it to the Shack. I just called it the Shack. I would always make funny. Hey, what's up, guys? I work at the Shack. I know you loved me over there.
Yeah, well,
I think there are only like a couple of stores. There might be one that's close to us in Florence that I know of. They used to be really big in the mall. We used to visit that all the time in the mall. And that's when you worked at.
That's because that's where I worked.
That's right. There's only one we were right. So now if you go to their website, radioshack.com, it says Radio Shack. Shaq is back. And I guess, I mean, it's legit. It's everything it used to be. All those digital gadgets, all those mobile accessories, computers, t-shirts, hats, excuse me, all their fresh new products. And I think that they're into cryptocurrency as well.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. But their Twitter is what's getting a lot of attention. So their Twitter feed, I'm going to put this up on the screen so people can see this. Is some of them can't be read. I'm just going to tell you that some of them can't be read on the air.
That doesn't really surprise me, to be honest with you.
Here's a tweet from Radio Shack. Woke up feeling rough, but remembered I put a stripper's kid through college last night. We all good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sounds like Charles Tandy has left the building.
Let's see. Let's see. My boss said to tweet this. Who else is 101 years old and is savage like Radio Shack? Please laugh at my boss's joke. Let's see. Ran out of F's to give. Oh my gosh, they're getting like vulgar on there. There's one on here that I cannot read. I will scroll to it and let people see it. And then I will, but it's just like, you think about like Wendy's is savage over there on their stuff, but they're not crass, like this. Let's see, where is it? Maybe I shouldn't even be finding it. Oh my gosh, she got a Voldemort on that thing. So it's a picture there. So they actually called out Wendy's. Wendy's, what are you doing? If you bitch slap someone in the comment section, but no one is there to see it, does it make a sound?
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Due to inflation, 6 inches is now 9 inches. Just
well, that's comforting to know.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people think beer is nasty, and so am I after 15. Good morning, happy Friday. Anybody that thinks Radio Shack Twitter is wild, and just remember, we watched a courtroom full of people talk about Amber Heard taking a dump at Captain Jack Sparrow's bed live on TV. So
I'm wondering, is this actually a corporate account, or is this somebody spoofing them?
That's a good question. I mean, it says on the page, it says Shaq is back, and then it says follow. It has the online store, has their merch, and nobody has come out claiming that it's a false or fake account. So you would think that if it's doing something like this and getting this much attention, that it would. But all right, man. Okay, well, I think that's about it for us, folks. Thank you so much for listening to the show, watching it, all the support. We got a bunch of comments, a bunch of shares, a bunch of interaction over there on Twitter and over on Facebook and on Twitch. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to follow the show on all the socials. If you go to breaktradio.com, in the top, you'll be able to see all the socials on there. You'll be able to follow us on all your favorite podcast feeds as well, podcast distributions. Thanks to everyone who had a good time with us today. If you did, let us know about it. Remember to sound off by clicking on the microphone in the bottom right-hand corner of the Breakdown Facebook page. And Bryan, thanks again for taking your Saturday, coming over and hanging out with us and talking to us.
Man, I appreciate it. I enjoy this so much. So, make sure you respond to all the Facebook conversations throughout the week, and make sure you always share what the Breakdown is doing, because Aaron's got some pretty cool stuff going on.
Oh, gee, I didn't even pay you to say that. All right,
you will.
Thanks again. And as always, signing off, make Christ supremely valuable.